Have you ever stopped and asked yourself, what do my words say about me? Not just what you tell others, but the words you whisper when no one's around. The quiet comments you make when you're frustrated, hurt, or unsure. Because here's the truth. What you say is a mirror. It shows the world who you believe you are. And intelligent women, real, self-aware, emotionally grounded women, never forget that. You see, we often think intelligence is just about knowledge, degrees, or the ability to solve complex problems. But emotional intelligence, that's a different level. That's power. And it shows most clearly through how a woman speaks. Not when everything is going well, but especially when it's not. When she's tired, when she's doubted, when she's disrespected. That's where her true intelligence shows up, not in her reactions, but in her restraint. Words are energy. They create, they destroy, they attract, they repel. Every word you say is either feeding your strength or feeding your weakness. Intelligent women know this. They've learned, sometimes the hard way, that careless words plant seeds of fear, insecurity, and limitation. And over time, those seeds grow into patterns that hold you back even when you're trying to move forward. Why do some women rise above? Why do they carry themselves with a quiet confidence that doesn't need to prove anything? It's not arrogance. It's not luck. It's self-mastery. They've trained themselves to guard their tongue, not because they're afraid to speak, but because they've learned that not every thought deserves to be voiced. They understand that silence can be strength. And when they do speak, their words are deliberate, precise, powerful. They know how to speak with authority without raising their voice. They can destroy a lie with a sentence. They can uplift with a look. And most importantly, they never allow their mouth to betray their mind. This is the kind of woman who builds people up even when she's rebuilding herself. The kind who doesn't gossip, even when she's been betrayed. The kind who refuses to beg for love, to chase attention, or to explain her worth. Because she's already done the internal work. She's battled with her own self-doubt. She's had the nights where she questioned everything. And she made a choice to rise, not shrink. To think, not react. To build, not break. Her intelligence didn't come from books. It came from experience. From heartbreak. From loss. From realizing that strength isn't loud. It's calm. She's the woman who listens before she speaks. Who walks away instead of arguing to prove she's right. Who knows the difference between being heard and being understood, and chooses peace over pride. She doesn't say things just to fill silence. She lets her silence speak louder. And when she speaks, people lean in, not because she demands it, but because she's earned it. And here's the reward if you stay with this. By the time you've listened all the way through, you'll have something most people don't even realize they need. A blueprint, a shift, a clearer understanding of how powerful you can become just by mastering the words you do not say. Because intelligence isn't just what you add into your life, it's what you remove. The habits, the noise, the weakness disguised as casual speech. There's something magnetic about a woman who knows how to carry herself in a world that keeps trying to tear her down. She doesn't scream for respect. She doesn't ask for validation. She doesn't explain her value. She simply becomes undeniable. And it starts with one choice. Choosing to speak like the woman she's becoming, not the girl she used to be. Choosing to let go of small talk, toxic phrases, and weak beliefs that no longer serve her. Choosing power, even when it's uncomfortable. Choosing growth, even when it's lonely. And choosing words that match her vision, not her fear. So ask yourself again, what do your words say about you? Because if you want to step into the version of you that's unshakable, respected, and truly free, it starts by letting go of the language that no longer fits the woman you're becoming. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being intentional. And once you start choosing your words the way a builder chooses their tools, everything changes. Respect follows. Confidence builds. And suddenly, the world treats you the way you've finally decided to treat yourself. Most people don't realize how easily their words betray their inner beliefs. They speak from fear, from frustration, from old wounds they never healed. But an intelligent woman learns to pause and listen to what's behind the words she's about to say. She asks herself, is this helping me grow? Or is this keeping me small? That's where the real shift happens. When you stop speaking from pain and start speaking from purpose. You'll never hear an intelligent woman say, I can't do this. Not because she's always confident, but because she knows the power of what she declares. She understands that every time she says she can't, she reinforces a belief that she's powerless. And she's not. She might be tired, she might be unsure, but she's not incapable. Instead of I can't, she says I'll try. Or even better, I'll figure it out. Because deep down, she believes there's always a way forward. even if it's not clear yet. This mindset isn't about pretending to be strong. It's about becoming aware that language builds reality. The more you say something, the more your mind looks for proof it's true. Tell yourself you can't, and your brain will show you every reason you should quit. Tell yourself you're figuring it out, and suddenly your focus shifts. Your energy rises. You start seeing opportunities instead of obstacles. The difference is subtle, but it's everything. Because what you repeat, you become. Intelligent women are careful with the stories they tell themselves. They've trained their minds to support their growth, not sabotage it. And it all starts with one decision: to never speak like someone who's already defeated. It's not arrogance, it's alignment. She doesn't deny the struggle. She just refuses to label herself as someone who won't rise above it. And over time, those little choices to speak with strength instead of surrender become who she is. That's how she builds a mindset no one can take from her: quiet, steady, powerful, unbreakable. Another phrase an intelligent woman refuses to use is, "I'm not good enough," because she knows that sentence doesn't come from truth, it comes from comparison. It's not a reflection of her ability, it's a shadow of her doubt. She understands that saying those words doesn't just reflect insecurity, it feeds it. It teaches her mind to look for flaws instead of growth. And over time, that belief can become a prison, locking her inside a version of herself that was never meant to be permanent. But here's the powerful shift. She doesn't have to feel good enough to act like she is. She doesn't wait for confidence to begin. She begins, and through action, she builds confidence. That's the mindset that separates intelligent women from the rest. They move even when they're uncertain. They show up even when they feel small. They speak life over themselves, not because they're perfect, but because they've chosen not to participate in their own self-destruction. This kind of strength comes from within. It's not about pretending. It's about being grounded. She knows that every woman has moments of doubt, but she also knows she gets to decide whether that doubt takes the lead or stays in the background. She chooses to build, not break, to grow, not shrink. Because every time she repeats the lie that she's not good enough, she distances herself from the truth, that she was always more capable than she believed. And what's even more powerful is that she lifts other women too. She doesn't compete. She doesn't tear down. She understands that intelligence is shown in how you speak to yourself and how you speak about others. So she models the mindset she wants others to carry: quiet strength, humble power, words that heal, thoughts that build. Because she's not interested in being better than others. She's focused on becoming better than she was yesterday. That's the energy she moves with. That's the voice she listens to. And that's the standard she holds herself to. Because she knows her words are the first step to becoming the woman she's meant to be. When emotions run high, it's easy to say things we don't mean. One of the most common phrases thrown around in frustration is, "I don't care anymore." But intelligent women don't use those words lightly, especially when they do care. They understand that pretending not to feel something doesn't make the feeling go away. It just pushes it deeper, where it turns into resentment, confusion, or emotional numbness. They've learned that silence can be a tool, but denial is a trap. Saying "I don't care" becomes a shield, a way to protect the heart from disappointment. But intelligent women know that shielding too long hardens you. It disconnects you not just from pain but from passion, purpose, and joy. So they choose a different path. They allow themselves to feel, but they don't let their feelings control their future. They process their emotions, understand them, and move forward with clarity, not with coldness. This doesn't mean they're fragile. It means they're real. They've outgrown the habit of pretending to be unaffected just to seem strong. True strength, they've discovered, lies in staying soft while walking through the fire. It lies in staying honest, even when it's uncomfortable. It lies in saying, "This hurt, but I'm healing," instead of, "I don't care." There's wisdom in acknowledging your emotions without being owned by them. Intelligent women use their feelings as signals, not as chains. They ask, "What is this teaching me?" instead of "How do I shut this off?" Because caring is not weakness. It's a sign of depth, a sign of connection, a sign that you're still human in a world that's constantly trying to make you feel less. And when a woman learns to sit with her feelings instead of running from them, she becomes unstoppable. Her presence feels calm, grounded, and undeniable, not because she doesn't feel, but because she's no longer ruled by feelings she refuses to admit. That's intelligence in its purest form, emotionally aware, deeply present, and wise enough to never use careless words to hide a powerful heart. Blame is one of the easiest traps to fall into when things go wrong. It feels natural to point fingers, to say, "It's their fault." But intelligent women refuse to fall into this cycle. They understand that blame might bring temporary relief, but it never brings lasting solutions. They know that blaming others gives away their power and keeps them stuck in a victim mindset. Taking ownership is not about carrying unnecessary guilt or responsibility for everything around you. It's about recognizing what you can control, your choices, your reactions, your growth. Intelligent women don't waste energy blaming the people or circumstances that challenge them. Instead, they focus on what they can change within themselves. This shift in focus is where true strength lives. When a woman stops blaming others, she stops giving them the power to define her story. She becomes the author of her own life. She chooses to learn from mistakes instead of pointing out who caused them. This mindset opens doors to growth, resilience, and self-respect. It frees her from the chains of resentment and anger that keep so many trapped in the past. Blame divides and isolates, but ownership connects and heals. Intelligent women don't wait for apologies or fairness. They create their own fairness through action and self-awareness. They understand that the world won't always be just, but they refuse to let injustice stop their progress. They rise above it. This isn't about accepting mistreatment or ignoring accountability from others. It's about refusing to be controlled by bitterness or victimhood. It's about building a mindset so strong that no external circumstance can shake it. When you choose ownership over blame, you reclaim your power. You invite growth instead of stagnation. And you show the world the unshakable spirit of a woman who knows her worth, no matter what. One phrase that intelligent women consciously avoid is, "I'm sorry for how I feel." This simple sentence might seem harmless, but it hides a deeper problem. An apology for being human. Feeling anger, sadness, disappointment, or fear is natural. It's part of the human experience. But when a woman apologizes for her feelings, she sends a message to herself and others that her emotions are wrong or inconvenient. Intelligent women understand that emotions are not a sign of weakness or failure. They are signals, messages from the mind and body that deserve attention, respect, and care. Instead of apologizing for feeling, they acknowledge their emotions with honesty and courage. They say, "This is how I feel," without shame or guilt. This simple shift in language rewires the mind toward acceptance and self-compassion. When you stop apologizing for your feelings, you start to own them. You allow yourself to experience pain without judgment. You give yourself permission to be vulnerable without fear of rejection. And this vulnerability is not a weakness. It is the foundation of true strength and authenticity. It allows you to connect with others on a deeper level and to stand firmly in your truth. Saying "I'm sorry for how I feel" often comes from a place of people-pleasing. It's a way to make others comfortable by diminishing your own experience. But intelligent women know that pleasing everyone is impossible and unnecessary. They choose to honor their emotions first, knowing that when they do, they can show up more fully, clearly, and powerfully in every part of life. This courage to feel without apology creates a boundary that protects mental and emotional health. It signals to the world that you respect yourself enough to not minimize your experience. And this respect radiates outward, shaping the way others treat you. It's a quiet power that changes everything, starting with how you speak to yourself. One phrase that intelligent women consciously avoid is, "I need to explain myself." This simple sentence often feels like a necessary step to gain approval or avoid judgment. But in reality, constantly feeling the need to explain every thought, action, or feeling is a sign of seeking validation from others instead of trusting oneself. It drains energy and weakens confidence. An intelligent woman knows that she doesn't owe anyone endless explanations. She understands that over-explaining can open doors to misunderstandings, misinterpretations, and sometimes disrespect. When you try to justify your choices repeatedly, you risk giving others power over your emotions and decisions. This need to explain often comes from fear, the fear of rejection, criticism, or being misunderstood. Instead, she chooses to speak with clarity and purpose. She shares what is necessary, without overloading conversations with excuses or justifications. Her words are intentional, and her silence when she chooses not to explain is just as powerful. She trusts that the right people will understand her without endless explanations, and the wrong people don't need her energy. Learning to stop over-explaining is a profound act of self-respect. It means trusting your intuition and decisions even if they don't make sense to everyone. It means embracing the fact that not everyone will agree with you, and that's okay. The world does not need you to justify your worth or choices to fit their expectations. This practice creates a boundary that protects your mental space and preserves your strength. It teaches others to respect your time and energy. And most importantly, it teaches you to respect yourself. Over time, this self-trust builds a quiet confidence that is unshakable. It's the confidence to live your truth unapologetically and to move through life with a sense of calm assurance. By choosing when and how much to explain, intelligent women guard their energy and keep their power. They understand that every word counts, not just those spoken but also those left unsaid. This mastery over language is a key part of their strength and wisdom. Another phrase that intelligent women never say is, "I'm just being honest." Honesty is important, but this phrase often hides something deeper, an excuse for unkindness or thoughtlessness. Saying "I'm just being honest" can be a way to dismiss the impact of words that hurt or divide. It becomes a shield for speaking without empathy or consideration. An intelligent woman understands that honesty doesn't have to be harsh. Truth spoken with kindness is more powerful than blunt words said with no regard for feelings. She chooses her words carefully, knowing that the way something is said can either build bridges or burn them. Speaking with integrity means being truthful, but also respectful. Using "I'm just being honest" as a cover for negativity creates distance instead of connection. It shuts down conversations rather than opening them up. Intelligent women know that communication is a tool for growth, not a weapon for tearing down. They speak their truth, but they do it with a heart that understands the value of respect. There is strength in holding back words that only serve to hurt. There is courage in choosing silence over harmful honesty. An intelligent woman knows that sometimes the most honest thing you can do is pause and ask yourself, will this help or harm? If the answer is harm, she chooses a different path. True honesty invites understanding and change. It is gentle but firm. It is clear but compassionate. Honesty is used wisely, it builds trust and deepens relationships. When it is used carelessly, it destroys what took time to build. This wisdom to balance truth with kindness is a mark of intelligence. It shows emotional maturity and deep respect for oneself and others. It creates a space where honest conversations can thrive, not just survive. And this space is where real growth happens, because it honors the humanity in everyone involved. One phrase that intelligent women consciously avoid is, "I'm afraid." Fear is a natural emotion everyone experiences, but announcing it openly often gives it more power than it deserves. Saying "I'm afraid" can sometimes feel like a surrender, an admission that doubt controls the situation. Intelligent women recognize that fear doesn't disappear by saying it aloud. Instead, they face it quietly and act despite it. This doesn't mean they never feel scared. In fact, they feel it deeply but refuse to let it dictate their choices. They understand that fear is just a signal, a messenger trying to protect them from harm, but not the commander of their life. Acknowledging fear silently allows them to move forward with courage, not paralysis. When you say "I'm afraid," you often invite others to doubt your strength. But when you face fear with quiet determination, you inspire confidence in yourself and in those who witness your resilience. An intelligent woman chooses to focus on her purpose rather than her fears. She uses fear as fuel to prepare, to learn, and to push harder. This mindset rewires the brain. Instead of fixating on what could go wrong, she trains herself to see what could go right. She builds a mental habit of action despite fear, understanding that courage is not the absence of fear, but the decision to act in spite of it. Over time, this rewiring turns fear from a stumbling block into a stepping stone. The power lies in how you respond, not in what you feel. Intelligent women know that every time they refuse to declare their fear out loud, they weaken its hold on their mind. They transform fear into an ally, not an enemy. This quiet strength creates a foundation of confidence that cannot be shaken by uncertainty or doubt. Choosing not to say "I'm afraid" is not denial. It is mastery. It is the choice to live boldly, knowing fear will always be there, but it will never control the journey. This choice shapes an unbreakable spirit, ready to face whatever comes with grace and power. Intelligent women also avoid saying "I can't." These two simple words carry a heavy weight, a limit placed not by reality but by belief. When a woman says "I can't," she unknowingly builds a wall between herself and her potential. It becomes a stop sign, blocking the path forward before the journey even begins. But intelligent women understand the power of belief. They know that challenges are not signals to quit, but invitations to grow stronger. They see obstacles not as dead ends, but as puzzles waiting to be solved. Instead of "I can't," they say "I will find a way." This small change in language rewires the mind to focus on solutions, not problems. Saying "I can't" often stems from fear of failure, fear of judgment, or fear of the unknown. But intelligent women refuse to let fear dictate their story. They face discomfort head-on, knowing that every step forward builds courage and resilience. When they feel the urge to say I can't, they pause and remind themselves of past victories and the strength inside. This mindset shift creates a powerful momentum. It turns I can't into a challenge rather than a barrier. It encourages learning, experimentation, and persistence. It teaches that failure is not the opposite of success, but a part of the process toward it. Choosing not to say I can't means choosing empowerment over limitation. It means accepting responsibility for your life and actions. It means believing that you are capable, worthy, and enough to handle whatever comes your way. When you stop saying I can't, you open the door to new possibilities, new growth, and new levels of strength. Intelligent women know this well. They live their lives with a mindset that says, I can, I will, and I am. This is the foundation of their unstoppable spirit, driving them to achieve what others only dream of. Intelligent women never say, I need someone else to complete me. This phrase, while often romanticized, holds a dangerous illusion. It suggests that your worth, your happiness, and your sense of self depend entirely on another person. But true intelligence knows that completeness comes from within, not from outside validation or relationships. A woman who understands her own value recognizes that she is whole, exactly as she is. She embraces her strengths, acknowledges her flaws, and carries herself with confidence that is independent of anyone else's presence. She doesn't seek a partner to fill gaps or fix what feels missing inside. Instead, she shares her fullness with others, creating relationships based on mutual respect and growth. Relying on someone else to complete you leads to dependence, disappointment, and loss of control over your own happiness. It places power in the hands of others and makes your emotional well-being fragile. Intelligent women refuse to give away their power like this. They build their lives on self-awareness, self-love, and self-respect. This does not mean they reject companionship or intimacy. On the contrary, they attract healthy, fulfilling relationships because they are already whole. Their confidence and independence become magnetic qualities that inspire those around them. They understand that a strong partnership is formed by two complete individuals choosing to walk life's path together, not by one person needing the other to survive. Choosing not to say I need someone else to complete me is a declaration of self-sufficiency. It's a reminder that your happiness is your responsibility alone. It empowers you to face life's challenges with courage and grace, without waiting for someone else to save you. When you embrace your completeness, you unlock a powerful freedom. This freedom fuels your dreams, your decisions, and your growth. Intelligent women live this truth every day, and in doing so, they create lives that inspire and uplift, because they are whole, capable, and unstoppable on their own. Intelligent women avoid saying, I don't have time. This phrase might seem like a simple truth, but it often masks deeper issues, priorities, choices, and self-discipline. Saying I don't have time is a way of giving away control. It places your life in the hands of circumstances rather than in your own power. The truth is, everyone has the same 24 hours in a day. What separates those who succeed from those who don't is how they choose to use their time. An intelligent woman knows that time is her most valuable resource. She treats it like gold, guarding it carefully and investing it wisely. Instead of saying I don't have time, she asks herself, what am I prioritizing? This question is a powerful tool for self-awareness. It forces honesty about what really matters. When you realize that time is a choice, you reclaim your power. You stop being a victim of a busy schedule and start being the creator of your own life. This mindset helps intelligent women focus on what truly advances their goals and well-being. They learn to say no to distractions, to commitments that don't serve them, and to anything that drains their energy without giving back. They protect their time as fiercely as they protect their peace. Choosing not to say I don't have time means choosing responsibility. It means recognizing that every minute you spend is an investment in your future. It means making conscious decisions that align with your dreams, values, and purpose. When you stop saying I don't have time, you start to live with intention. You make space for growth, for joy, and for progress. Intelligent women live this truth daily, mastering their schedules and designing their lives with purpose. They know that how they spend their time defines who they become, and they choose to become unstoppable. Intelligent women never say, I'm just lucky. This phrase might sound humble, but it often hides a denial of the hard work, discipline, and sacrifices made behind the scenes. When someone credits luck for their success, they diminish their own effort and strength. Intelligent women understand that success is rarely about chance. It is about consistent action and relentless perseverance. They recognize that luck favors those who prepare, who stay focused even when the path is difficult. Every achievement is built on countless small decisions, on moments of persistence when giving up would have been easier. Saying I'm just lucky ignores the hours spent learning, the failures overcome, and the resilience cultivated. This mindset keeps many stuck in a place of passivity, waiting for opportunity to fall into their laps. Intelligent women refuse to wait. They create their own luck through preparation and determination. They know that luck is the intersection of opportunity and readiness, and they work hard to be ready for every chance that comes their way. Choosing not to say I'm just lucky means owning your power and your story. It means standing tall and claiming the fruits of your labor. It allows you to build confidence rooted in reality, not in randomness. This confidence fuels further growth and opens doors to even greater achievements. When you stop attributing success to luck alone, you begin to see how much control you truly have. You realize that your future is shaped by your choices and actions. Intelligent women live by this truth. They don't wait for luck, they build it. And in doing so, they become unstoppable forces of purpose and power. Intelligent women never say, I'm too tired. Fatigue is a reality everyone faces, but how you respond to it reveals your mindset. Saying I'm too tired often becomes a way to justify giving up, delaying action, or avoiding responsibility. It signals surrender to momentary discomfort rather than commitment to long-term goals. But intelligent women understand that tiredness is temporary, while regrets last forever. They recognize the difference between physical exhaustion and mental defeat. When fatigue hits, they don't let it control their choices. Instead, they listen to their bodies, recharge when necessary, and then push forward with renewed focus. Saying I'm too tired can be an excuse to stay stuck in comfort zones. Intelligent women refuse to let comfort become a cage. They know that growth requires effort, sometimes when energy is low. This does not mean ignoring self-care. It means mastering the balance between rest and action. They develop habits that increase their stamina, both physically and mentally. They prioritize sleep, nutrition, and mindfulness, but beyond that, they cultivate a mindset that pushes past temporary tiredness to reach their bigger purpose. Their why fuels them when their body protests. Choosing not to say I'm too tired means choosing resilience over surrender. It means understanding that every moment counts, especially the hard ones. It means knowing that success is earned by those who refuse to quit when the going gets tough. When you stop saying I'm too tired, you claim your power to keep going. You develop an inner strength that carries you beyond limits you once thought were impossible. Intelligent women live this truth daily, proving that tiredness is not a barrier, but a challenge to be met and overcome with courage and determination. Intelligent women never say, I'm afraid to fail. Fear of failure is one of the most common traps that hold people back from reaching their true potential. But intelligent women understand that failure is not the end. It is a necessary part of growth and success. They don't allow fear to control their decisions or stop them from taking risks. Failure is a teacher, not a judge. Every setback carries a lesson, a chance to learn, and an opportunity to improve. When you embrace failure, you shift your mindset from avoidance to curiosity. Intelligent women meet challenges head-on because they know that courage is built through action, not comfort. Saying I'm afraid to fail often means living in a place of what-ifs and doubts. It keeps you stuck in a safe zone, but safe zones do not lead to greatness. Intelligent women refuse to be prisoners of fear. They push past it, understanding that the greatest achievements lie beyond the discomfort of uncertainty. Choosing not to say I'm afraid to fail means choosing courage over comfort. It means accepting that mistakes and failures are part of the journey toward excellence. It means trusting yourself enough to keep moving, no matter what. When you stop fearing failure, you unlock a powerful freedom. You begin to take bold steps toward your dreams without hesitation. Intelligent women live this truth every day. They see failure not as a weakness, as a stepping stone. This fearless approach empowers them to break limits and reach heights that once seemed impossible.